Hello everyone. In this lecture, we'll be discussing the syllabus of General Studies 1 and then I will tell you the various sources from where you can study this topic in brief and lucid manner. So in General Studies paper 1, we have various subheadings such as Indian heritage and culture, history, geography of the world and Indian society. At first, we have Indian culture. In this, we have salient aspect of art forms, literature, architecture from ancient to modern times. So the various art forms, literature and architecture which are present in India from ancient to modern times, what is their salient aspect? Say one of their salient aspect is that their theme is mostly centered around God or Indian traditions. When you look at the various literature or various temple architectures, you will see that their theme is mostly centered around God. Then one more salient feature is that they are traditional in nature. When you look at the mural paintings, you will see that they are made of cow dung. So this is how the Indian architecture or literature or art forms are traditional in nature. Similarly, they are continuous yet evolving with time. What I mean by this is that when you see various Indian paintings or when you see temple architecture in India, you will see that it has been a continuous process, but it has been also evolving with time. So these are some of the salient aspects of Indian culture. Then in modern Indian history, you should know about the events from middle 18th century, that is 1750s, or from the time of decline of Mughal Empire until the present. Okay, so what are the significant events in between these times? Some of the significant event can be 1757, Battle of Plassey, then 1857, Sepoy Revolt, then 1919, non-cooperation, 1930, civil disobedience movement. Like this have been some of the significant events. Then what are the significant personalities between these events? Some of the significant personalities have been Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore. These have been some of the significant personalities. And what have been some of the significant issues? One of the significant issues was caste system. Another was widow remarriage. Then we had sati. Then we had child marriage. These have been the significant issues. Then we have the freedom struggle, its various stages. What were the various stages? Say there was a moderate stage. Then in 1905, we launched Swadeshi movement. Then 1919, non-cooperation. Then 1930, and after that. So these have been the various stages. And what has been the important contribution from different parts of the country? How different part of the country have contributed to freedom struggle? Say we have Akalis from the Punjab, then we have Kisan Sabha from the Uttar Pradesh, then we have Nayar movement in Kerala. Like this, there have been various contributions from various parts of the country. Then we have post-independence, consolidation and reorganization within the country. That how country was reorganized and consolidated after the independence. So in this, we have political aspect, that instrument of accession was used. Okay, in 1956, states were reorganized. Then in economic aspect, we launched planning. Similarly, in cultural aspects, we provided rights to minorities and various other rights. So this is how consolidation and reorganization within country was done after independence. Then we have history of the world. This will include events from 18th century such as industrial revolution, world wars, redrawal of national boundaries, colonization, decolonization, and political philosophies like communism, capitalism, socialism, etc., and their forms and effects on society. So this is a sequence of events. If you want to remember world history, remember it as a sequence of events. Like we had industrial revolution, then we have World War One, then we have time between both the world wars, then we had World War Two, then we have decolonization, then we had the Cold War. Okay, so like this, you should study the international history or the world history like a sequence of events. Okay, and then you should also study important philosophies like communism, capitalism, and socialism. What is their definition and what is their feature? Then we have salient features of Indian society. Okay, what have been some of the salient features of Indian society? One of the salient feature is that it is continuous in nature. Okay, that our civilization or society has been continuing from a long time. Another feature is that it is modern, yet it is traditional. Even though we are modernizing with time, but we have also kept our traditions alive. Then we have diversity of India. You should know the meaning of diversity. Okay, what are pros of diversity or positive, and what are negatives with respect to diversity, and how we can manage our diversity, or how we can live in harmony with each other. Then we have role of women and women organizations. Okay, what has been the role of women and women organizations before and after independence? Say before independence, there was Rani Lakshmibai, Sarojini Naidu, like this. And after independence, what has been the role of women, like Chipko movement, anti-Arak movement in Andhra Pradesh, like this. And what has been the various women organizations and what role do they play? What role women organizations play? They provide financial literacy, financial inclusion. Okay, then they provide healthcare, jobs, etc. to women. So this has been their role. Then we have population and associated issues. What are the associated issues with population? Say if we have overpopulation, then there will be lack of jobs. Similarly, we will have other issues such as if we have overpopulation, then we will have lack of resources, like this. Then we have poverty and developmental issues. Okay, what are the issues with respect to poverty and how development can lead to reduction in poverty? Then we have urbanization, their problems and their remedies. In this, you should know what is the definition of urbanization. What is the definition of urbanization? Then you should know what is the problem with respect to urbanization. Some of the problem is that our urban areas are now too much congested. There's issue of traffic. There's issue of slums. There's environmental issue also. And what is the remedies? What remedies can you suggest, or what remedies have been suggested till now, like the smart city mission, building metros in our cities? So like this. Then we have effects of globalization on Indian society. How globalization is affecting Indian society in various dimensions or aspects. See, due to globalization, our music is changing. Now we are listening to more and more English music. Similarly, our food habit is also changing. Okay, our family system is also changing from joint to nuclear. This is how globalization is affecting our society. Then we have social empowerment. In this, you should know the definition of social empowerment and why is it needed. Why social empowerment is needed? So to bring the marginalized section of our community into mainstream. Then we have communalism. What is the definition of communalism? Okay, and how it can be tackled, and what are the reasons due to which communalism arises. One of the reason is political struggle. Then we have regionalism. In this, you should again know the definition of regionalism. Then you should know that there is a positive regionalism and a negative regionalism and how it can be tackled. Some of the steps which can be taken are political, then social, economical. So this is how regionalism can be tackled. Then we have secularism. In this, you should know the definition of secularism. Okay, and the difference between Indian model versus the Western model of secularism. Then we have salient features of world's physical geography. What are the salient features? In this, you should know the distribution of various mountain ranges such as Alps, Andes, Rockies, Himalayas. Then we have various deserts also, plateaus also. Like this, you should know the salient feature of world physical geography. Then we have distribution of key natural resources across the world, including South Asia and Indian subcontinent. In this, you should know how and where the various resources such as oil, coal, steel, etc. are located. And then we have factors responsible for location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world, including India. What factors play a key role in deciding the location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industry? The factors can be land, labor, capital, government incentive, like this. Then at last we have important geophysical formulas such as phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc. Okay, in this you should know the definition of each of them, the definition of tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc. Then you should also have their diagram with you, and then you should know what are their features, how do they occur, what happens when they occur, etc. Then we have geographical features and their location changes in critical geographical features, including water bodies and ice caps. and in flora, fauna, and effect of such changes. This can be termed under environmental geography. Okay, in this you should know about various processes such as global warming, desertification, then we have melting of ice caps. Okay, we have deforestation. So these are the various phenomena happening under environmental geography that you should know. Now let us discuss the sources. For history, in art and culture, we have NCERT Fine Arts, CCERT by Ministry of Culture, and Nitin Singhania. These are our primary sources, and you should also keep a tap on current affairs for some happening in art and culture. Then we have Modern India. In this, we have NCERT 12 and Spectrum by Rajiv Ahir, and India's Struggle for Independence by Bipin Chandra can be your secondary source. Then we have Post-Independence. In this, we have Politics in India since Independence, the NCERT, and again Spectrum. Okay, you can also use India since Independence by Bipin Chandra as a secondary source. In world history, we have NCERT from 9 to 11 or older NCERT by Arjan Dev will do. Then you can study selected topics from Norman Liu, world history, and value added materials by various coachings. Then we have Ancient India. In this, you should have R.S. Sharma or new NCERT of class 12, both will do. Similarly, in medieval India, Satish Chandra or new NCERT, both will do. For geography, in world physical geography, we have geography NCERT from class 6 to 12 and GC Leong. Then for India physical, again we have geography NCERT from 6 to 12. Then for geological phenomena, we have 11th NCERT and GC Leong. And for human and economic geography, we have 12th NCERT. And at last for environmental geography, we have 11th plus 12th NCERT for geography and environment by Shankar IAS plus current affairs. Then for society, we have NCERT 11th and 12th for society plus current affairs, because society is the most dynamic part in GS1. So you should study current affairs also for society. And then we have Indian Society by M. Senthil Kumar. This can be your secondary source. So this more or less concludes our GS1 syllabus discussion in brief. In next video lecture, we'll be discussing the syllabus in detail. So thank you.